Hello YouTube. So today I thought we should take a closer look at what's actually controlling this CNC machine. So I've disconnected the control board, or the control board here, and this little control panel. And we're gonna have a closer look at what's actually going on here. Now, as some of you may know, and I suspected, it's very similar to a 3D printer. It's got these three stepper drivers. You've got your inputs or outputs for the various axes. You've got the spindle control here. And then this control board just connects with a 8-pin cable over here. And on this we have got a tiny screen, got 8 buttons I think, and an SD card in the back where you can load G-code off. And then you also got a USB connection right here and one on this board. And there's various ways you can actually use this. You can disconnect this control board or control panel entirely and just connect directly with the USB to this USB port, and then control it via a serial connection where you send your decode commands and control it that way. And that would probably be how most people would use it. Now I've got the Pro model, which came with this little control thing. So let's try reconnecting that. Honestly, this is kind of a piece of shit. It's really bad. Let's see if we can get focus here. Okay. First of all, it's extremely simple. You've got 3 menus here. We've got File, where you would be loading your G-code off from. It comes with a example G-codes. iPhone, I have not tried that. I have no idea what it does. Maybe an iPhone cover of some sort would be my guess. Then you've got this set command, where you can adjust the baud rate and you can adjust the move rate or feed rate. And then there's the last command, and this is why this is actually pretty much useless. You've got the move page, so you can move the spindle around all the axes to start the spindle. You can adjust the steps, if it should be 10 millimeters, 0.1 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 5 millimeter, or 10 millimeter. But when you're in here, you can't actually exit this page yet. So you can't, if you wanted to use this to adjust the spindle for the right starting position, and then exit out and go to the file menu to load your decode, well, the only way you can actually exit this menu, as far as I can tell, is by cutting the power and then reconnecting it, and then we're back. But there's not actually any, and there's a reset button down here on the main control board. If we can get focus, right here, there's a reset button. But this only resets this board, not this board. So my initial thoughts is this is pretty crap. But I thought we should have a closer look at what it actually does, how it works, and maybe we can figure out some improvements. So let me just disconnect the power here and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have it lying down here. We have a closer look at this board first of all. We've got the actually 24 volts DC coming in here. Then there's some regulation capacitors, and I think this must be a voltage regulator, most probably, because down here we have an Atmel chip. I probably can't get focus so you can read that. It's too tiny. I haven't got a proper macro lens for this, but it's an Atmel Mega 328P chip. So that's your more or less your standard Arduino variant, or a variant of that at least. And then the rest of the control circuitry is, well, we've got your stepper drivers and various power delivery. And down here we have a chip that's, I'm not sure exactly what it is. I haven't looked up the number, but it's most likely a USB to serial converter. So you connect this up to your PC and then you get a COM port and you can talk with it like it was an Arduino or your 3D printer, etc. Then we've actually got, I think, all of the pins from the Atmel chip broken out down here, although only half of them are actually labeled. It seems. It looks like the rest, the pins on this side should be labeled here, but they cut the circuit board too close, so we can't actually read that. On the back, there's nothing. But basically we've got an Arduino here controlling some steppers, and it takes all its command through a serial interface through the USB. Or you could connect probably directly up to these pins or these pins, because that's the next step. The next thing I found out, or I suspect, is that the only connection between these two, well, there's some power in here, and then there's a serial connection. It's probably the only thing going on here. So this would be equivalent to you hooking it up to your PC and getting a serial connection to USB. This just gets a serial connection through this 8-pin connector here. And if we have a closer look at this, it's got a tiny, tiny screen. If you saw the unboxing and assembly video, you probably saw the case that this came in. I'll just get it here. It's just these, it's some acrylic or plexi glass, and it assembles like so, and you've got a big hole down here, and got holes in the sides, and yeah, it's just really poor quality. So honestly, if you're gonna buy this this machine and you can save a few dollars by not getting this control board, I'd say skip it. I very much doubt I'm going to be using it, but let's have a look at what it can do. It's got the SD card, and it's got a USB port here. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, other than maybe you can reprogram it. That would be maybe my suspicion. Then it looks like it's got a BT1. Is that a button or button cell? It looks like a battery connector, so in some variants of this it might be able to store some settings. This hasn't got the battery implemented, so if you change any of the baud rate and stuff in this, it probably won't remember those settings. I don't know what else you would have this for, to be honest. And then the heart of the matter is this is actually quite a powerful board that's being used for next to nothing, because the chip here, see, I think I might be able to get this in focus if we are lucky. There you go. It's an ARM STM32F103. So this is an ARM processor, like you find in your mobile phone or you find in a Raspberry Pi and stuff. Obviously, I haven't looked up this model number, but it's probably a lot less powerful, unless you've got a really old phone. but it's a very capable chip, to be honest. So it's yeah, and I think it's very being underutilized. But there's a few things you could do. You could, if I'm going to use this this control board, I'd say I will want to make a new case, 3D printer case that's actually closed entirely. Maybe see if we can replace the screen. It's so tiny. Yeah, you can read it, but if yeah, and that's the next thing. I'll see if I can get another firmware for this and maybe improve it quite a bit, because it's so basic that it's almost useless. Yeah, so if we could do that, then see if we can load something off that USB port, if that connects to the chip, and if we can flash it. And then maybe replace the screen and make a better interface for it. Maybe even replace at least these button heads here. They are quite bad. All in all, this is just quite bad. And the SD card you get with it, it's a whopping, let's see if we can get that in focus. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can read that, it's quite small, but it says 128 megabytes. Oh yeah, they went all out on this baby. But this is quite crap. So what I'm thinking is, we've got a serial connection here. Now, of course, I could use the USB here to connect it to my PC, and I'll probably try doing that. But the thing is, where I plan on putting it, I don't really have a PC, and I want to build an enclosure. So that's, well, obviously I need a power cable going in there, but then I need a second cable going out as well. That's holes in the enclosure, and I need to set up like my laptop or something next to it to actually control it. So I'm thinking, let's think about how we can improve this experience. And we've got a serial connection that we can use to do pretty much whatever we want. We just need to control this stuff somehow. So I'll be right back. So let's say we skip this entirely, and we need to talk with this through here. We could use the USB, but I don't want to have to connect the USB cable every time. I don't want a dedicated computer to just sitting here connected to this. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a wireless connection? Enter the ESP. This is way too small for me to get a focus on the chips, but this is an ESP 8266. Yeah, I think that's the number. This is a chip that does Wi-Fi, and it's actually got a microcontroller as well. And in fact, the microcontroller in this is way more powerful than the ATmegas you get in Arduinos. So this could, well, if you had the variant with all the pins broken out, could probably, if you got the right connections at least, could run this entire thing. It could replace this chip, but that would be a bit hard to do. Now there's actually an open source project that uses the bigger brother to this, the ESP32, which is even more powerful. It also supports Bluetooth. And there's an open source project where you can basically get a board like this, where you plug an ESP32 into. But the thing is, I've already got this, and the ESP, the board itself costs about what was it, $30 maybe, 40 even, $35. I could probably reuse the stepper drivers, but I'll also need to purchase the ESP32, and that's probably about $10 on its own, whereas these older 8266s you can get for about $5 or even less. I mean, this would not all the pins broke now. You can get this as a low as $2 or $3. This little board here. So I'm thinking, well, I don't want to buy that board and the ESP, and I might need a new power supply because I'm not sure if that board is 24 volts like this. It might be 12 volts. And you know, before I'm done, I've easily spent $50 plus shipping probably to get that going. But I've already got this, and if it didn't, I could get it for $2 or $3 with shipping from China. So what if we made this connector here? What this could then do is serve a web interface, so we can control it that way. We can also do a serial over Wi-Fi connection. Depending on your control software, you might have to make some plugins for that, but that would be within the realms of possibilities. This could also, like we saw on this board, run or drive a little screen, so we can get an interface and buttons and everything. I would need more pins for that than this one has, but if I just wanted the web interface, I could go with just this. We need to figure out which pins to connect to here. Now I'm not sure if there's actually 3.3 volts available on this board. I think it's running 5 volts here, so maybe we also need some sort of power converter from 5 to 3.3 volts. But this might actually be a good possibility, because the thing with these boards is they were actually made for adding Wi-Fi to Arduino boards. This was the original purpose of these ESP chips. But then people started figuring out that, well, actually the controller on this is way more powerful than the Arduino, so why do I even need the Arduino? I could just use this straight up. And that's what people been doing. But since they started life as an expansion to Arduino boards, that means there's tons of libraries available to make the connection and so forth. So it should actually be fairly straightforward to do this. Yeah, that's my thought process right now. Obviously, I'll probably need to spend some hours coding to get this working, so it's not something that will work straight out of the box, but it's very much a possibility, and I think this would be a very nice upgrade to this machine, because, like I said, the control option that it comes with is pretty bad. Running it through via USB means I need to set it up somewhere, or I need to set up a computer close to it, which I really don't want to. It really doesn't fit in where I plan to put this machine. So what if we added Wi-Fi, or maybe I'm pretty sure I've got an ESP32 variant lying around, so we could even add Bluetooth. That might be even better in some regards. So that's my thought process. What do you think? What should I do? What would you do if you were to control this? Would you just set it up right next to your desktop PC in the office and watch it go? Remember, it makes a lot of noise. it's not a silent machine. So would you want to do that? Or do you want to get an extra PC? Yeah, sure, you could buy an old junk one, but still, do you want to have an extra PC running just to do that? Or what if you just could connect any PC in the house directly to it via Wi-Fi? So you just grab whatever tablet or laptop that's closest to you and you can control your CNC machine. What would you do? Leave a comment down below. And then, yeah, if I decide to do this, I'll probably be a follow-up video on how to do it. And if I get it working, of course I'll make all the source code available so you can do it yourself. So like this video if you liked it, and press that subscribe button. And until next time, take care.